ahead and put it out there. I don't care. Happy Friday, TGIF, everybody. Hopefully, I left it a little more delay so we could have the closed captioning on. Gotta remember to go live 30 seconds earlier when that happens.
Sounds like a really old chill for you.
Maybe it just takes a while before it starts going. I got a notification. Everybody there? Can you see me? Hear me? Thump, thump. Just gotta double check and make sure I have the right mic on. Oh, I don't know. Might not have the right mic on. Hey there, everybody. Oh, hey, Holly. I'm not sure. I think it takes a while for it to actually start going. I'm not sure what the first thing you guys saw was. I'll have to check that out. Yep, can I see you? I suppose I can see your little avatars. All right, good. So yeah, I'm all the little ones from Justus on down went and spent the night at Aunt Bethany's house. Although Solly has recently come back because he chickened out, basically. Well, I'm glad that everybody could be here. It's kind of fun to keep each other company on Friday nights, on this quarantine stuff. Hey, Ann. Hey, Tanya. Young family life. Good to see you. Everybody's at Aunt Bethany's house. Empty, moving? Oh, yeah. No. Does it sound like it was more disastrous than it is? It's just, it feels that way, though, because it's really discomforting to have the whole house quiet. It doesn't feel right. It feels wrong and unnatural. But they're all having fun over there, so. Oh, yeah. Hit the like button. Give us a thumbs up down there if you could. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel and you like the videos we make, you can go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and that way you'll get notified whenever we go live. We tend to go live extremely randomly, as in right now. Nice you get a break. See, I don't know if I want a break. It's weird. It's weird, but I suppose it's nice. I made enchiladas for dinner. I let the other boys just fend for themselves since didn't have to do a click for everybody else. That was nice. How is Thomas doing? I feel like we never see him anymore. We don't really see him very much anymore, do we? He's hanging in there. Happy Friday, Heather. Even the big boys. No, the big boys are here. So we have Thomas, Asher, Judah, and now I guess we got Solly too. So that's I don't know. What is that? 57% gone. Love watching Andrea. She inspired me to create a measuring stick to keep track of my kids' heights, and I enjoy keeping up with your family through you. Best wishes. Yeah, the measuring stick is a pretty important little stick. It has all of our kids on it, and it's strange. It seems like just the other day that we made that. It's a nice piece of oak from Home Depot, and yet it was a long time ago. Enjoy it while it lasts. I don't. Truth be told, I don't enjoy it. I did enjoy. I went for a bike ride at like 4:30. I mean, my shop was still technically open. I had Asher watching it, but that was kind of nice. I've never been able to ride so early. I went 10 miles again. It was a lot easier this next time than originally. I did it just a little bit over an hour too, so getting better at it. I think the next step is to go 15 miles. Mother's Choice on all the mothers. Yep. Mother's Day is going to be difficult. You have CC on? They should be on. I put them on. Good job with your exercise. Proud of you. Thank you. I enjoy it. If it didn't give me some mental fulfillment, I don't know that I'd do it. Although it is nice. It is nice. I don't know. I kind of decided maybe it is the exercise that it helps. I don't know. Walking, I was taking a lot of walks, and it gave me some small bit of peace or something. And so now I'm riding my bike, and it does the same thing. I enjoy it, and I enjoy going far. It's like I've already walked around the town everywhere which way I can walk. And with the bike, now I can, I'm 5 miles away. I'm seeing things I've never seen before. I'm talking to cows because there's nobody else around, and it's just thought it would be fun to talk to a cow, which people would have thought I'm crazy, but there's nobody around. Very lonely roads. So it's fun. I hope to be able to ride all the way to Upton. So I'm going 10 miles now, no problem, and I've only been doing it a couple times, so I think it shouldn't be too big a deal to go 15 miles. My influence is working. Yeah. Maybe. And I lost my son. I walked every day to keep sane. Yeah. I don't know what keeps sane. I keep the whole way there. While I'm riding my bike, I'm playing over in my mind what I'm gonna do tomorrow. I gotta go pick up the flowers. Flowers will be ready for Andrea's grave. And I have this little flower vase thing for putting in the ground. And so I'm going to go and I got to pick up the flowers. And I got to start dyeing the white one green for Solomon's flower. And then I want to go out to the cemetery and dig the hole and get the vase all put in there, put some water in it. We also got, it was really kind of interesting. It came today. And it seemed that it would be perfect, but last time I went out to Andrea's grave, I rode my bike out there, and it's still just a pile of dirt. There's no grass growing on it. It's just this pile of disturbed dirt. And I thought, man, I need to plant some flowers here. And so Andrea would really like wildflowers, so I thought, I'm going to go get a wildflower bunch, a bunch of wildflower seeds, and then I found some that were all blue. It's a wild blue wildflowers. And I thought they'll be fun. I'll plant those on them. And they came today. So, hey, that's perfect. We'll have all the kids, we'll all plant them on her spot on Mother's Day. Oh, it's going to suck. It's going to suck. It's interesting. The Mother's Day is at different places. I guess. Why is that? Where did Mother's Day start? I wonder. And who was the rebel that's like, I'm not celebrating Mother's Day on your Mother's Day. We got to have our own Mother's Day. I wonder where the first place to celebrate Mother's Day was. Mother's Day will be hard for you with your beautiful children while you visit the grave. Hopefully you find peace and solace. I don't expect to find peace and solace at all. It's going to be very difficult. I actually originally decided I'm not going to take any video. But then I decided, as I was writing, I thought, all of our Mother's Day videos, all of our Mother's Days have been on video. And we should put it on video also. So we will. We'll get some video of it. See how it goes. Watching your family, you have a wonderful family. Oh, thank you, Samantha. My husband's grave 4 months afterwards, and that's when I got the call that my youngest son had passed and never found my husband's. Crazy, and I've never been back. Oh, really? Wow. I never wanted to go. That's totally opposite from you. I never wanted to go. Never cared if I ever went to her grave. And then I find myself going. I find myself going a lot. Seeing her face on a, sun bleached cheesy picture they printed out. You lost your husband to cancer 2 weeks ago? Oh my goodness. Isn't that so terrible? I'm so sorry. 2 weeks ago is like you're still in shock. I'm so sorry, Sherry. If you need anybody to talk to. Hey there, Jenna. I'll get through it. Yeah, I'll get through it. It's just not going to be fun. It's not going to be fun at all. And then I realize if we keep doing the flowers, I need to go get them at some point and dry them and put them in a little bulb thing for the Christmas tree. I don't know if we'll continue doing that Christmas tree thing for forever. Maybe I'll give them all to the kids at some point. I don't know. I don't know where the line is between starting fresh and holding on and all that stuff. But can't see past May 12th. I don't like Mother's Day or May 12th. It's going to be a hard week. Wow. Past May 12th. Oh, I see. Is it not recently? I see. What time is it for us? It is 10 after 9 here. Hopefully each year would be easier. Yeah. I don't know if we'll continue doing that every year. I imagine we will. Andrea has no stone yet? No. It's not uncommon, by the way, to not have a stone yet. Some people do it at the 1 year anniversary, and again, she's not there. It's a place for us to go to visit, and we can talk to her all the time, but I don't know, it's still whatever. We're gonna get a stone, but I'm agonizing over what to put on there, and I just haven't made a call to do it. It's still living on purpose is difficult. Just doing stuff and getting by. May 20th will be 6 years my mom has been gone. Yeah, Andrea's mom was, I think I decided to be about 8 or 9 years.
That is what we got the bread, put it in the fire. We lit the fire, but we didn't. It wasn't starting. So I got this small Amazon box, and I was gonna start the fire with that. But then Judah comes out, the big trash bag full of the stuff from the opening we did, and then he started putting stuff in, and then like a huge bonfire. I think we had the bucket of water there, but
No, we
then
Hey, we're still alive, you know, so.
Anyway, let's bring the house down.
No, he's always pestering me about being so safe.
Oh, you guys are goobers.
I don't know what the fire is.
I don't. He always like, Asher, you're never safe, and then he goes and sets the bonfire.
I didn't hear.
You're not safe. It's right.
What was that comment there? I was watching a video and Hannah was born. Andrea mentioned giving Hannah the ornament she made of the flowers you gave her after her birth when she was 18. Oh, I see. That's a good idea. Oh, I'm sorry, Janet. Losing people sucks. You just time to find the strength to get through this tough time. Yeah, I don't know when it ever ends. My first month will be the 1 year my girl's dad passed away. Man, everybody loses people. It's amazing. Major pizza dip. It was delicious. Enjoyed the Bible study series so much, and Hannah's birthday was great. Oh, well, thank you, Marie. That's awful kind. How many kids do we have again? We have 9 kids. I keep saying we. We have 9 kids. I have 9 kids.
I have 8 bros.
His daughter divorced 3 weeks ago. Man.
You have 5 bros.
Already has a sod laid back down over it. Strangely comforting like a blanket. She's all tucked
I have 4
in.
bros.
Wow.
Well, I guess we don't think
Asher and Judah are here with me. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You got it, Julie. Putting in the work. Eventually everyone will lose someone. I've had those thoughts before, and the older you get, the more alone you'll be. You know, Andrea's grandma Fern, you know, she was, I don't think she was the youngest, but she was one of the younger ones. and she's the last of all of her siblings to be alive. You know, she sees her husband passed away, lost kids. You know, it's just strange to see the rest of the world dying around you. I'm sure that's got to be really strange. Of course, it's probably harder to make friends when you get older. Any special plans for Father's Day? Oh no, I don't even care about that. One more thing, I'll have to figure out what to do.
Maybe all the bros have to come take you and do stuff.
A long way, don't even realize it. You're a good dad. I suppose I've come a long way. I was thinking the other day about how I've been doing those videos 1 month, 2 months, 3 months later, all those videos, and someday I'll go back and watch them and see if I really changed or if I didn't. Hey, Aunt Josie. What do you think of divorce? Divorce is terrible. Should never be an option as far as I'm concerned. Only child, no kids, just my folks. Oh. Youngest at 12, and the last one doesn't. He just wants to be with his family, and it's so sad. Yeah. There's a little, I think I've shared with it before, but there's a little documentary me and Andrea watch called, I think it's called Japan's Disappearing Children. And there's just so many things that are just so interesting over there, and how they're not having any kids, and all the elderly don't have anybody. They just die alone. And sometimes their body will be alone in a room for weeks before the stench gets too bad. They finally it gets reported, and they're just a stain on the floor when they go in there to clean it up. It's just so sad. Lost my dad, only sibling, a 7-month-old son. Mom was going through chemo, and I'm terrified of losing her. At 27, lost over half my immediate family. I'm so sorry, Morgan. How has school with so many kids been lately? School's really not that big a deal. It's not too bad. We've had a lot of years to develop a routine. Sometimes we have challenges. I mean, it's mostly with the little ones, like Solomon not focusing and doing his work. Occasionally we'll go through a bout of somebody not doing things right, but for the most part, schooling isn't too bad. You've come a long way. I've seen you change. Oh, thank you, Anne. I don't know if that's true or not. It doesn't feel like it's true. Didn't you get a divorce from your oldest daughter's mom? Yes. That wasn't my desire. Stand-up guy, no, Tom. I'm kind of a lurker, silent watcher, so I admire how you've handled Andrea's passing. Kudos to you. Oh, thank you, vegan grandma. I definitely haven't seen your name in there, but I don't mind lurkers, so. I've seen Britain's biggest fallacy. People are dying alone here in hospitals because of coronavirus. That's so sad. Well, hey, Brenda. Good to see ya. I died in a hospital in huge hospice rooms. My relatives went to see her a few hours before she died. I'm so sorry, man, fan. That's so terrible. Losing people is tough. I've lost a lot of people. This is definitely different for me. Definitely. I lost my dad. My brother when he was 12. I've always lost a lot of grandparents, grandmas and grandpas and that kind of a thing, but this is by far worse. Dying is a part of living. Yep, it certainly is. Dad's a smart guy. Yep. I used to say living causes dying. Special occasion events in our lives after a loved one passes are very difficult. Yeah, doesn't seem difficult, but I know it will be. 150 something likes. Come on, let's hit those thumbs up. Yep, everybody hit the thumbs up. Let's see how high we can get it in a short time. If you're happy it's Friday, hit the thumbs up button.
I'll hit that thumbs up. Okay,
Your soulmate is different, like losing an arm. I'd rather lost an
I
arm.
can't put all my armor on me.
Closed this weekend because of Corona. Unbelievable. Wow. Yeah, happy Mother's Day to all the mommies out there. It doesn't have to be sad for everybody. Sometimes divorce can feel like a death, just my opinion. Yeah, no doubt. It wasn't an enjoyable thing at all. Coming home to somebody else, living in my house, using my stuff, sleeping in my bed with my wife. It wasn't a good deal. Let's see the boys. Well, they're here. I left some couch space open. If they want to come get on camera, they can. But see this, but you're doing amazing with those kids. Andrea will be proud of you. We're gonna be Tom time too. I mean, when I get Tom time, there's nothing I want to do. I don't need Tom time. Although I'm enjoying riding my bike. I enjoy riding my bike. I used to play lots of video games and stuff, but I hardly touch them anymore. Nothing really seems very fun. It's like, say hi, Cindy, then I will. Well, I just said hi, Cindy. Good to see you, Cindy. I know you were there. You know that feeling? Yep. Do you have to pay for the books and everything when you homeschool? Yeah, you got to pay for everything. It's not cheap. Horse story sounds like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Someone was sleeping in my bed. Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't a fun deal. I'm a lurker as well. Doing much better. You love your kiddos. Best wishes. I'm loving all the lurkers. Unlurking for a couple seconds. That's awful nice. Everyone needs their own time. You can't fill up others' cups if you don't fill up your own. I disagree. I think you can fill others up. That's not all I do. But your point isn't wasted. Your point isn't wasted. Please do another live bike ride. That was great fun. Was it? I had a lot of people that were like, I can't watch this. I don't want this. I don't like this. Other people liked it. I ordered one of those GoPro Maxes. You get like, they had a sale and you get an extra $100 off if you hand in an old digital camera. And so I did that. So anyways, it's another GoPro, but it's got built-in stabilization. So it makes really smooth videos. So I thought, I got a helmet. Of course, I wasn't wearing a helmet. Everybody's giving me a hard time. But I'll have a helmet now because I needed something to hold the camera. And I figure I hold my head steady anyway, so that should make it a lot better to deal with.
You can wear some nice gloves so if you fell, you can. Yeah.
My first mother death, losing my mom. Oh man, that's tough in your dreams. Report the children's grades. You have to look, Carol, at your own state's rules. They're usually not as stringent as you may think. So all we have to do is we have to report every year what subjects we're teaching the kids. And that's about it, I believe. We have to inform the school that we are homeschooling. We have to apply, even though they don't have the right to turn us down or make us stop. But we still have to do that, so we fill that out every year. You and Zach from American Homestead are my prayers. Oh yeah, I think I remember that guy. I gave him a little comment on one of his videos. It's so terrible. Do you have a stabilizer for your camera? I had a gimbal. That's what I was doing on my last bike ride, but a gimbal is not meant for a bike ride. It didn't work out. I have an amazingly kind and gentle smile. Really? That's a nice compliment. Thank you. I don't know if that's true, but it's fun to read. 5-year-old twins who can't get to focus on homeschooling. What age did you guys start homeschooling? Is Claudia in pre-K? Yeah, Claudia did the kindergarten thing with Sophia this year. She's too young, technically, but she's doing really well. So they did take the parents' word that they're homeschooling them. Let's not forget that up until 60 years ago, well, more than that now, 70 years ago, there was no Department of Education. And it was your job to raise your children. And so it's funny how much we've given it back over to the government again, not to go off on some sort of conspiratorial rant or anything, but they don't give us permission to teach our kids. We teach our kids, and we put up with their regulations, but it's not their responsibility to decide what we do. But yeah, so we don't have to do anything but report what we do. So the kids test out of their grade. If they can pass the test, we have lots of little workbooks, and so if they can pass the test for a workbook, we're willing to entertain that depending on where they're at. But most of the time that doesn't happen. Stay-at-home order, I'm sure. American Homestead Grandpa can't be another. Oh, the listener lives. Let's use something new for yesterday. Oh, let's see. Camera was smooth moving. So I used the gimbal yesterday in the Thursday video. Don't come over here, Solly. He's not dressed. But it was difficult because we kept freaking out too, and it's a little strange and it's hard to make some of the angles, but it definitely was smoother. So still the Amazon store. We do have a link to an Amazon affiliate link in the comments, in the description of this video, so you can click on that if you'd like. Now we all homeschool, right? I homeschooled to the public school, and my kid ended up being top 3% of the SAT. Happens all the time. They call that virtual school over here, where you do it through the public school system, but you do it at home. And a lot of people, that's a good fit for some people. I think I've seen from the people that I've seen do it, it tends to be more difficult on the parents because you got to do whatever they say, and you can't change things you don't like. But it's kind of like a gateway drug. It's kind of like the crack of homeschooling. So usually you get a computer or something or some books. So you give computers to people over here if you're doing it, and then you're thinking, hey, I can do that on my own. I don't need to use this curriculum. I want to use a different curriculum. Before you know it, you're homeschooling for reals. These. Next time you will go live, I have to go right now. I don't know, Courtney. It just sort of randomly strikes me. If I'm sitting here and I have nothing to do and I'm feeling a little bit wistful or something, I usually go live. I don't really know for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if I didn't do another one maybe Sunday night after Mother's Day, possibly. I lurk a lot because sometimes I don't know what to say. Oh, I understand that. That's okay. I think most people are lurking, right? So I don't know how many people are actually in chat here, but how many people do we got in the 400 to 500 people? I think most people lurk. So welcome, lurkers. You don't ever have to comment or say anything, but we appreciate that you're here anyways. If you're a lurker, hit the thumbs up button. See how many lurkers we got. How do you support Judah with the math? Have you used Khan Academy or other tools? We use the Khan Academy videos once or twice. But Daddy's really good at math, and so math isn't an issue. He's doing sentence diagramming in English, and Daddy is worthless at it.
But the only thing is I'm so good at it. And the only reason I'm good at it is because I don't need to use it ever.
Judah's been getting good at doing the sentence diagramming, way better than me. I hate the crud out of it. Sometimes we'll get Mrs. Reeves to come over and help him out if he's really struggling, and she has to learn it too. So
I don't understand though.
But what sucks is
faith free. I sense maybe you're a lurker. Well, thumbs up. I'm glad you're there.
It's just the only thing I don't need in life is the.
I lurker. I have a smart aleck comment until I have a smart aleck comment. Well, that's a good one. So that's all right. That sounds more like me. Well, see, there are lurkers here. Listener instead of a lurker. What's the agenda on the bathroom tomorrow? Well, first thing I got to do is go and get the flowers, dye the green flower, go to the grave and plant dig a hole for the planter, little vase thing, and then I'm going to start working on the bathroom. I need to re-hang up this new light. I got one of the new lights. Doesn't make me happy that I had to buy another new light, but I think I told you guys about that. The light we have, it's a light slash fan, and I have it piped to the outside, and I already got it all installed, and all the boxes are all gone. And then it hit me that it's going to be cold in there, and the heater, there's no vent in there. It's going to be relying on the vent from the regular basement vent. And so I wanted a light that has a light and a vent and a heater. And so I got one. Now I'm going to take that light down, put the other one back up. Oh, there's Asher. You should get over there next to Asher. Stalker. Is that an upgrade to lurker? Hit the thumbs up on the way in. Well, everybody's listening to that. See, that got people going for whatever. If you're a lurker, hit the subscribe button. if that apparently works. Gonna do some gardening. That sounds fun, Katie. We're gonna work on the bathroom. Where's Chad? He probably hasn't got the notification, or you're not paying attention. I'm a late listener. How much did I miss? Oh, not much. We're just messing around for the most part. Living vicariously through your shopping trips with your children. We aren't allowed to bring our kids with us. Well, I'm super glad that we don't have much changes difference here. Your boys are so handsome. They are, right? What are your kids cooking over there? What are you cooking?
I'm making hot cocoa.
Hot cocoa. How does it feel without Hannah around? Oh, Hannah's here.
She's in the bed.
So it's actually not that empty now. So we actually have Hannah's sleeping in my bed because it felt sad to put her in the bedroom by herself. So I guess we have Thomas, Asher, Judah, Solly, and Hannah. So we're down to not very many gone. 4 gone. There was 5 gone, but Solly was brought back because he wasn't going to make it. He was getting... Lurker's cracking me up. Dallas Lurker here. Nice to see you, Dallas Lurker. Update a girls' room tour. I totally am going to. That's high on my priority list, but I'm scared because I need to learn how to sew. There's more reasons to learn to sew. I want to redo the girls' all the clothes. We're having a hard time keeping track of the clothes, even though we have the marks of the colors in the back of the tags. Some things don't have tags, and it makes putting the laundry away more difficult. And so I'm going to try to sew in some little ribbons in the back of their shirts for it. Lovely Lurker here. There you go. Andrea also watches Andrew's Walmart videos every night to get sleeping. Wow, that's cool. Oops. I didn't think Hannah would go. No, she can't go until she's older. Holly's a lurker. We'll do the girls' room tour. I promise. After I get the... oh man, there's so much to do in so little time. If I can wrap my mind around it, I can try to do some more days work. Generally, Saturdays is the day I work on the stuff for the family. I do projects around the house. Monday through Friday, we're doing homeschool, and I'm working. Sundays has kind of been a chill day. I'm thinking maybe I might, on Sundays, do some more work, possibly. I keep thinking I'm going to do more work, but then I don't do it. So, used to be a lurker and never comment. Wrote Andrea a letter once and never got around to sending it. Wish I had now. Aww. Well, he wasn't going to make it. Yeah, he's awesome. Quiet one stayed home. Just kidding. No, you're not wrong. The quiet one's Jen right here. Unless Asher and Judah are wrestling over moldy bread.
Yeah, I put some moldy bread in his shirt.
There, we found some moldy bread that had been hiding back on the bread shelf, and they were throwing at each other.
Well, I was mostly throwing at Asher.
Well, he did. Well, Dad had like 3 extra breadsticks from Nard tonight that we've left, and they got really moldy. And then Judah, I showed Judah, which is really regrettable, and then I was gonna throw it away, so I threw it away. He got out of the trash, put it in the back of my shirt, and mushed it around and stuff, and then...
Mushed it in your shirt? You should go get one of the other microphones.
Wait, I can't also, because Dad also mushed in his shirt when he ran past me.
Well, he tried to.
101, boy, I hate going over 100. That's one of the best parts about Wyoming. I don't think it got over 100 the entire year last year. After the old bunk beds that held the crib mattress bunks. They were taken apart piece by piece and taken to the dump. We might have burned some pieces of them. I think for a while. There might be some pieces in the attic that had some cute scribbles on them. But generally they're all gone. Everything dies. Oh, hey, Jan. Good to see you. Andrea had a calming voice. We heard that a lot. I'd sure love to hear her calming voice. Asher, what's your favorite thing to do?
Be a jerk.
Be a jerk, apparently.
That's true. I mean, in a funny way, but...
What else have you put in the air fryer? You know, we haven't done a whole lot in the air fryer. Asher tried to make French fries in it the other night. It didn't come out. They didn't come out very good.
They're more like puffy Cheetos, no salt, sucked on. So I try putting on salt first while they're still wet, and then doing it, but they're still like puffy Cheetos.
So they're more like puffy Cheetos than French fries. Can you even dare to eat the moldy bread? Oh man, I wouldn't let him do that. Air fryer today said I cannot get to the end of the month, so I thought, oh well, I'll send it out. Oh, that's cool. We love the air fryer so far. We haven't done too much with it. I decided to take the bread machine, put it back down in Mills Market where we used to keep it, and it has a plug-in down there where we can make bread. I thought if I put it up here I'd make homemade bread more frequently, but I haven't been making it still very frequently. So the air fryer is sitting there now. I love Asher's humor. It's similar to mine. Yeah, Asher's his humor is a little bit dark. When is the kid's last day of school? What grades are they in? Well, I couldn't quite tell you exactly when the last day would be. Generally, the first day of summer would be their first day of summer, their summer break. But this is the first year of homeschooling by ourselves. I think we're all the kids are a little bit behind, so it's possible we may go a little longer, but I don't know yet. We'll see.
And the grades are...
You have an Instapot?
Yeah.
People keep saying Instapot, but I don't know the difference between an Instapot and a slow cooker. Are those the same thing?
I don't know, Chris.
I don't know. We've got a couple steam pressure cookers. Is that what you're calling the Instapot? I don't even know the difference. There's a season for all things. There's a time for everything and a season for every activity under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3. This is like a podcast but live and with your family, right? It's a lot of fun. Hey, Kentucky Girl. 4.0.
Yeah.
That's way better than Kentucky Girl 3.0.
There's only 2 extra pages in school each day. As of 9 extra
Mary was
pages
born and raised
by
in
the
Missouri, and
end of
parents still live there. Make spaghetti or mostaccioli? I don't know what that is. We make spaghetti. Pots are like slow cookers, but a lot faster. I don't know if we got... I think it's a pressure cooker, right? Is it a pressure cooker? Makes homemade chili in less than a half an hour. Andrea's pressure cooker is designed for high elevation. Yeah, we got a separate little valve you got to put on for high elevation, which would be R. Judah knows he's smart, but he's also not very confident in himself.
I'm smart in the ways that the government doesn't care about.
Like sentence diagramming?
Yeah. I mean, like, that's the only thing that's, like, literally the only thing.
Favorite shape of pasta? Oh, I love shape. I love all kinds of weird shapes. I had some autumn leaves the other day. Well, by the other day, Andrea was still alive. And we had some squid ink spaghetti, which was fun. Black spaghetti. That was fun.
That looked really nasty.
That was awesome. I should get some more. My favorite Ecclesiastes. Mine too. That's my favorite book. I hear windshield wipers. It could be our dishwasher. It's extremely quiet. I'd be hard to believe that you could hear it, but it's possible. Judah, you're awesome. What an amazing life you have ahead of you.
Yeah, if I ever graduate because of government.
You will.
You wanted Moorcroft.
Yeah, so
I would take Hannah if I was a grandma or aunt. She's in there just sleeping.
You get a little baby bear that's funny.
I bet you we can go spy on her for a second. She's pretty precious. Yep, I got a girl in my bed tonight. It's nice to not have an empty bed. Must be nice to have little kids sleep through anything. That's the advantage of having a big family. When you have a big family, nothing wakes the kids up. So when they're ready to sleep, they sleep.
It'll be alright if me and Japan and I feel served.
Sure. Thomas is downstairs. He might even have gone to bed already. He might just be watching his phone in his bed.
He's playing the computer.
Oh, he's on the computer, they said.
He might even go watching Livestream.
You make your bed. I'm very impressed. I make my bed probably 7 out of 10 times. The other 3, Asher will do it all by himself. He's such a good boy.
Shoot a follow.
I still gotta do my chores.
Yeah, come on.
I don't know how I didn't get them done, but
I make it the way Andrea still made the bed. Hey, Angie, good to see ya. Tell Judah what I said. I don't remember what you said. Let's see here.
I see it.
Judah, you love your creativity and the armor you make. You should go into be a welding apprentice. We've thought about that too. So 3 little girls, but Hannah is so sweet. Been watching since she was born. I know, it's so wonderful. Tom, what chore do you hate doing? All of them? The bathroom get finished? No, I haven't touched it. Last Saturday happened to be Hannah's birthday, so I didn't get anything else done. My daughter was a baby. She would jump up awake if the floor creaked when I tried to tiptoe away. Well, I think that still happens. They usually know that you're doing it. The secret, and it doesn't work on just people, it works for adults too, is to act like it's normal. It's abnormal sounds that clue us in. Like if I was trying to sneak to bed late, not wake up Andrea, if I was going real flat, slow and tiptoeing, it would wake her up. But if I just walked normal, throw the covers around normally, she would never hear me. Thomas a senior this year? Yes, he is. Lori, what did Lori say? Oh, I see the welding thing. You ever watch Sons of Anarchy? Yeah, we have. Not often. We catch a random thing. You got this. Oh, good, Jenna Marie. I'm glad you got it. I hope it works out good for you. Is your cleaning lady coming back? Yeah, actually, I just talked to her today. I asked her to come back, do it once a month, and she said that sounds fine. So she'll be back sometime. Emmy's amazing. What is Thomas's plan now to be graduating? One time you want to be the manager of the grocery store. I think he'd still like that. He's still not. He's still kind of in a funk. It's tough. I think the older you are, it's harder. This whole thing with Andrea is harder on some of the older kids, and he's doing okay, but I think he's kind of in a funk at the same time. So. Thomas planning to buy his own house. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess so. Good night, God's girl. Come in and marry Thomas's graduation. Will you get a diploma? Yeah, we'll make him a diploma. I'm sure I can make him one. We've never had a kid graduate yet, so I'm sure Andrea had all sorts of plans and thoughts on that matter. I don't really know. Haven't thought about it. We'll get it. I give up here. I'm Asperger's, very organized. The rest of my family here, but won't do anything anyway. I hear ya. It's Andrea canned her food in. What? Andrea canned her food in what? Well, thank you, Anne. She canned her food in the pressure cooker. Yeah, she did. I think that's one of the uses of it, right? With my dad's death, I think he got a bit better once I was older and my husband had a family of my own. Yeah, I'm sure. Vertical graduation. We all send cards and gifts. Oh, I'm sure we could do something like that. You gotta send a transcript into the state to get it endorsed. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I'm not sure what you do. I'll have to look into it. Watching your channel has helped me through my hardest times in my relationship and as a parent. Well, that's wonderful, Amanda. It's helped me a lot with you guys, being able to talk to you. I was 5 when my dad died. I faintly remember him. It's not so difficult because I didn't understand. I agreed. I was 10 when I lost my dad, and I have a handful of memories of him. But that's pretty much it. And the little ones.
What are you doing, knucklehead?
I gotta do my work.
You're not doing your work.
Yeah, but I'm gonna do my work when I get up.
Oh, you're doing a bit.
That's what that angsty teenagers say when I never do it.
Yeah, but it's when the angsty teenager that is doing it just happens to be the guy.
You said you watched it. Who's your favorite character on Sons of Anarchy? I couldn't tell you any character names. Couldn't tell you.
Sure, come on, I'll be waiting for you. In 2 minutes.
I gotta do my work.
2 minutes.
We started riding again. Do the kids ride with you? Judah rode with me yesterday.
Yeah.
But I think we decided we need to get him a new bike. His bike he's got is the one that was Thomas's, and it's got some problems. A lot of the bikes suffered casualties before I had a chance to build the bike shed. Rain is just so terrible on bikes when you have nowhere to put them. That was why we built the bike shed. But now that we got one, we're going to start replacing the bikes little by little. Good to see you, Carol. Right back if you're lucky. Favorite movie? Oh, that's too tough. But I still like Inception a lot. Love that movie. 7-year-old son talks about how he's going to be a dad like I'm a mom when he grows up. I'm like, slow your roll, dude. I know, right? That's super cool. That's a really good sign, I think, actually. Took a bike ride on my friends and her kids, and then you guys. Everyone's bike riding. Everybody was bike riding. Thought the dog would help me, but I think it's not like a baby up close once they follow me everywhere. Dogs are a lot of work when they're young, and you want to get them young, as far as I'm concerned. I take young UK over 30,000 deaths. Summer plans? I don't have any plans. Oh yes, I recognize you. Hey Lisa, good to see you. I'm glad you made it. Are you Team Sasuke or Naruto? Sharingan or Clone Jutsu? Oh, I'm definitely Naruto. I like Sasuke and all that, and it's cool, but no, I'm definitely a Naruto fan. Is it cold where you are, Tom? Because here it's going to be 106 on Wednesday. I rode my bike. It was 55, and I still forgot to bring my gloves, and I didn't bring a coat. But it was early. It was early enough that it wasn't too big a deal. You can get a new bike as a 10-year-old now? Yes, actually. We have the money Papa Doug sent for the bike. I just haven't been able to take her to the store, so. I'll be a great friend to your kids and a special dad. Oh, well, thank you, Jackie. Hi, Lynn. Oh, good night, Lynn. Good to see you. Matrix is good too. Love the Matrix. I could talk about the Matrix all day long with the, Christ character. There's a lot of interesting things in there.
I guess that's not going to go do.
Supposed to snow tomorrow. Yeah, I heard the Northeast is going to start. It might get pounded by a pretty terrible snowstorm. How hot does it get in the summers there, Tom? Well, last year, like I was saying, it never got over 100. It might, if it does go to 100, it usually goes over 100, maybe a couple days, and that's it. So it's not usually. It's much more mild. It's a very nice place to be in the summertime. It's hard to buy bikes right now. They're either overpriced or sold out. Oh, really? I guess that makes sense. I hadn't thought about that. Oh, hey, Anastasia. How long did it take to get used to the cold weather when you moved from California? 50 degrees, I think it was snowing. You know, that's the thing, is I enjoyed it. I loved it immediately. That was one of the best parts. And, I used to joke in California there were 2 seasons, hot and hotter. And I don't like that. It got to the point where anything that was different, I liked a lot. So, like, when it rained, I thought it was beautiful. And sometimes it'll rain for 2 weeks straight in California, and I just loved it. So I got to love anything that wasn't sun. And so I actually really enjoy seeing all 4 seasons. Actually seeing the colors, the leaves all change colors, and seeing the snow, and then it'd be green and then hot. It's like it is in a book. How far is the Billings from there? I think it's like 3 hours to Billings, if I recall. Favorite non-religious book? I guess that's a fun way to word it. Bookshelves used to be where the bathroom is now. Boy, non-religious book. I've read a lot of the Founding Fathers of Christianity, but I haven't read a non-religious book in a very long time. It would probably be something silly, like I have this book on ninjas that I thought was really cool. And that was like 15 years ago. So most of the time when I read, it's for, I'm reading religious type stuff. What took your parents to Wyoming? My stepdad's a preacher, and they moved out here because that's what they believed God wanted them to go, and I just tagged along. I was a 20-year-old kid, and yeah, and I loved it out here. It's great. Yeah, Hannah's kind of having some dreams over there, I think. That's what my hubby just said. 2.5 to 3 hours. Is that where you're from, Brenda? I don't remember where you guys are from. You might discuss the Matrix whenever we watch it. I could talk about the Matrix all day. I've actually got a theory that I haven't seen anybody else put out. You remember the third one when the guy made the cake and gave it to that girl, and it had a program in the cake, and we'll leave that be. But I kind of wonder if they didn't give Neo the program for the one in the cookie that she ate. Remember, in the very beginning, they made a big deal about eating this cookie. I promise you, when you eat it, you'll feel so much better, and blah, 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 and he eats the cookie. It's just a fun thought. And you met your lovely wife there. Yep. Well, hey, Becky, good to see you. Ninja book sounds like a good one, and it is. It's supposed to be some sort of real history of ninjas. Yeah, I like ninjas. I'm a guy, so. I didn't hold my laughter because it was so serious. Wait, what? What? See, Holly made it back. There's a good video about how we met. I hate and love watching it. Moldy bread. Yeah, that's my boys. Or the Receivus book you recommend. Exciting to start reading now that college is over. Oh yeah, it's super fun. I really enjoyed it. Very much enjoyed it. Wait, does Josephus count as a religious book? It might not. Josephus was a non-Christian Jew. I think I'd put it solidly in a history book. Although his book Antiquities was pure religious. So maybe, I don't know. It's hard to say. Where did you first see Andrea, Tom? Well, I think I've shared it before, but I was supposed to go check out this girl / look at the computers down at the Christian school where she worked, and yeah, I remember walking in and I took one look at her. I remember because the door was closed and she just went out of the frame and just kind of leaned over and saw me and then went right back out to what she was doing. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's not interested in the slightest. And she's way hotter than me, so clearly I don't have a chance, and I wanted to leave right then. Way out of my league. She says she knew that day that we were going to get married, and God told her that. Is Andrea already in Wyoming? Yeah, she hadn't been here that long, though. She's from here and from the area, but she went to... Where did she go? Not Oklahoma. She went to Oklahoma? No. Where did she go? Yeah, Oklahoma. I don't remember where she went. She went somewhere where her friend was and was going to school down there or something. I can't remember now. You were set up with Andrea and it turned into a beautiful thing. I know. It did. I enjoyed the video with you and Andrea telling a love story. I enjoyed it too. It's a fun one to watch. Does it bother the older kids to be on camera? No, they don't want to be on camera. They won't be on camera. I don't think it really bothers anybody. It's some kind of thing we're kind of used to, and it's like a car just pulled into your driveway. Well, my driveway is over there, so you couldn't see it, but maybe a car just driving by. When Andrew said you took so long to propose, and by long, it wasn't long. It was long for her. She was very eager to get married. She was like, "Get this show on the road." And respect for you and your wife, live your life for her. Well, thank you, Nicole. I'm not quite sure what that means, but I appreciate that. Does your channel have content? Oh, I see. Not talking to me, you're talking to Lori. Born and raised in Albuquerque. Oh, I've been to New Mexico just a few times. China Ninja Monks today. Talk about training. Wow. Yep, there's some pretty neat things there. Kung Fu's pretty cool too. Oklahoma video, and she cleaned hotels for a bit. Yeah, I think it was Oklahoma. All of a sudden, my memory can be bad on stuff like that. It's about stuff I don't care about, or I wasn't alive to be there for. So, as far as I know, she's always been in Wyoming, but you know, I just hear about what it was before I knew her. Where are the boys? They went back downstairs. Oh, I can feel the floor vibrating. I think they're playing my Oculus Rift downstairs. Well, hey, Shelby Lynn. Thinking of a vacation after all the mess is over? Not particularly. We probably should. You're so well versed on so many topics, Tom. Oh, well, that's a compliment. Thank you. What do you want to be? What do you want to be when you were little, Tom? Career-wise, were you always a techie guy? I always wanted to be an engineer. Not a train engineer, just a regular engineer. My dad was an engineer, my real dad. He actually, I told you, we were at that Alcoa Aluminum, that's where he had a plant. He had one in California and one in El Paso, and they moved back and forth between there. But my dad he worked on a lot of really cool aircrafts. He worked on the stealth bomber, which I think is pretty cool. And the Thunderbirds, if you know who they are, and a couple other interesting things. I was always really proud, but I wanted to be an engineer like him. That was originally what I wanted to be. My grandpa actually got me my first computer when I was really young, and my dad was not happy about the idea. But there was no stopping it. Her husband's an engineer. Engineers are cool. I gotta turn this on silent. You still have a biblical recording running 24/7 in your house? Yep, we sure do. What trait in a woman would make you interested in? I can't share that. That's secret. You could probably figure it out if you watched any enough of my videos. So if I were to share it, everybody would all of a sudden develop that trait. Personality so calming and positive. What a jewel Andrea was. One of a kind. She truly was. The Thunderbirds from the U.S. Air Force. Yeah, they're are they F-15s? I don't remember what they were now. But they were special, all painted. They all do tricks at air shows and stuff. That's about all I remember them for. But are you happy with what you are doing without the title? I don't know what you mean. Message before, it was right as you were signing off. Would you or the kiddos want to do the small snail mail pen pal thing? There's me and 3 girls. Ages 3, 16, 3. Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, I can't guarantee it. I mean, but it sounds like something they would want to do. But engineers and computers go hand in hand, though? They do. They do. They do. I don't know why my dad was necessarily not wild about the fact that I had a computer. He was more of a macho cowboy type dude. I'm not sure. My mom's gonna watch this later and she'll inform me about it later. How would you feel if one of your kids listed in the military? I think that was fine. It's good living. Is it a girl? LOL, Tom. Who's a girl? I'm not sure what you mean. Adrenaline, feeling down, lost my gram this morning. Oh, I'm sorry, Donna. That's terrible. Would you be okay with not having any more children? Yeah. I'm okay with however the Lord puts in my life. Heck, it's hard to have kids by myself. If I could figure that out. Oh, there she is. I knew my mom would set me straight. Is it a girl messaging you? Oh, no. Well, I mean, it probably is. I mean, most of my subscribers are all girls, but no, it's not a girl messaging me. If that's what you mean. Any of your teens ever cuss? Nope. I mean, they will have fun thinking of words that walk the line sometimes, just for shock value. But no, they don't cuss. Commodore VIC Tony computers never worked right. Yeah, we had a cassette player for our Atari computer. I always enjoyed it. I think he's a little jealous of the time he spent with Grandpa on the computer, and he didn't understand too much yet. Well, there you go. There's the answer. But I know he loved that kind of stuff. I remember playing Atari with him. He played Frogger all the time and River Raid, and so he loved that kind of stuff. But maybe that's what it was. I can't keep saying chicks. People got offended when I said chicks last time. I didn't mean it wrong. Do you cuss? Nope, I don't cuss. But don't get me wrong, words are just words. No word can be bad. Only a human being can be bad. Only humans have the capability for evil. So words aren't bad. But there are certain social connotations with certain words. And if you say said words, people will think things about you. And the Bible says to abstain from even the appearance of evil. So I think it's a good idea not to cuss. But I don't think it's a sin or anything, probably. Of course, using the Lord's name in vain might be a fine line, but did she like opening that present after pizza night? She did. She kept asking me for more presents. Baby shark present. Baby shark present. She thought everything was baby shark. I say chickadoodles. Chicks are fine with me. What's so wrong? I don't know. I got a couple pretty harsh messages about you're so disrespectful and terrible towards women, but calling them chicks, and so I immediately decided that that's probably not a good thing to say. But can you recommend a laptop general use, mostly schoolwork for? If you're recommending a laptop now, you should recommend not getting a laptop now. Wait. All that's left is old stuff that's overpriced. The entire laptop industry is shattered by all this stuff. It's very hard to get a laptop. And when you find one, it's mediocre, overpriced. So try to hold off until all this stuff is blown over if you're serious about getting a laptop. Chicks is a term of endearment. That's just what I call them. And when I was in high school, it was the chicks. You know, guys like talking to chicks. I didn't mean anything by it. I think it's a generational thing. How does your mom feel about your channel? I don't know. She's watching and typing, so she must like it. God doesn't want us to have any unwholesome talk come out of our mouth. Wouldn't you agree? Yes, I would agree with that statement. But if tomorrow the word orange became a curse word, would you stop saying the word orange? Or would you defy that cultural significance and just decide to keep saying orange because it never meant anything to you? So those are the kind of questions you got to ask. Evil only exists in the heart of man. And Romans 14 shows us that what's a sin to one person might not be a sin to somebody else, and vice versa. So I think it's an interesting concept to talk about. But I would agree with the Lord doesn't want anything unwholesome to come out of our mouth. The question is, what is unwholesome? If all of our bad words became good words tomorrow, they would then be wholesome, right? So it's the attitude of the heart that makes things unclean. Jesus said, it is not what comes in a man that makes him unclean, but what comes out of a man that makes him unclean. So that's a fun question to talk about. How do you purport to introduce your boys to young ladies? That's a good question. We got a nice big YouTube channel, for one. And there's always going to be something. I'm taking the kids to youth groups. I'm going to be here again soon, and all kinds of other things. It's not a vacuum in here, so. Ellie has a YouTube channel for so many reasons. Thank you for all your support to the family. Well, there you go. You have to agree that the typical swear words are out there were never meant to have a good meaning. I don't know. That's actually not always true. I mean, if I say gay now, that has a different connotation than gay did, 50 years ago. Or even the word, I can't even start saying them because people get flagged. But there's several other ones that actually had innocent things to begin with. Some of them obviously did not. But again, I don't think a word can be evil. If a knife killed somebody, is a knife evil? No, it's the wielder of the knife that's evil. We don't curse, and I don't think cursing is not a good thing to do. But at the same time, I like to have conversations about what does it mean to be evil, to sin, to be good, to be righteous. All those things are attitudes of the heart. And we don't say them. So it's not like I'm arguing that cursing is okay. But I do think it's what is sin? So that's an interesting thought. I call men's dudes sometimes. See, that wouldn't be offensive, right? It's only offensive if I call women something. Catholic and I cuss a lot, so it's not bad if you aren't cussing to someone in a mean way. So that's the thing about Romans 14. Romans 14, we talked about that in our last Bible study. It's about doubtful disputations, about, one person believes it is sin to eat meat. For that person it is sin, even though I being fully convinced of the Lord Jesus that nothing is unclean in itself. If someone regards something as unclean, for him it is unclean. So that's an interesting concept. If something can be sin for somebody that's not a sin, then I think that we have to take those things into consideration. I do think it's probably not a good idea, and I think culturally you understand that people don't like those words, and it offends people. So in that regard, I think it's wrong to offend people just to offend people. But I think it's a fun topic to think about. It's probably offensive. I'm sure if I said chicks, I would get written up. Yeah. So I guess it depends. Your Bible knowledge is very impressive. Oh, well, thank you, Ashley. I've been through it hundreds and hundreds of times. It's my favorite thing to do. I think it makes people sound less educated. Absolutely does. Absolutely does. I can look at her relationship, but I'm curious, how would you make time for dating? It would be difficult, wouldn't it? But it's one of those things that it's not as big a deal as you think. I mean, I've got 3 teenagers. And if we're talking about official babysitting age, I got 4 boys that all are capable of babysitting. So it's not the end of the world. You always know you've won a debate when the other person starts cussing. Yeah, that's possibly true. Home church video, she said you guys would debate during church. Do you still do that? What did you debate about? Oh, we have some debates. It definitely happens. I think debates is quite a good way to sharpen our swords, to find out what you believe. To make opinions and to change them and to learn and to grow. I think that's pretty good, important stuff. I can share you some of the stuff we debate about, and other stuff I'm not ready to share about because that's why we debate about it. Not because it's bad, but because I haven't quite finished thinking about those things yet. I only want to teach people about things I think that I've settled on. But I enjoy just looking. Sometimes there's verses that are very interesting and worded in very strange ways. What was I just thinking about? Oh, randomly, I was taking a shower earlier. I got off from my bike ride, and Job was playing, and it was talking about. Oh, it was going at the very end of Job, which is funny. I always find out how many times I'm at the end of Job randomly. I mean, the Bible goes through our house every 3 days, one full time, and I'm still amazed how many times I happen to be around for the end of Job. And I kind of shared our story. It helps me that I can't think about great saints would do. I can't picture them going around swearing. That's probably true. I think they wouldn't, and I think it's probably why one of the reasons why we shouldn't. But again, those are all just cultural, right? Paul said that if a man has long hair, it's offensive. In the Bible, he's talked about it's a shame to a man to have long hair, and so that would have been very offensive in their culture. And it's not necessarily offensive now. I may not like it or whatever, but it's not offensive in the same way. And so things change. I think there's cultural things, and so I think that's the real thrust of Romans 14, that if what I eat causes my brother to sin, I will never eat meat again. That's what Paul said. And so I think in that spirit we can take in the cursing. I think it fits very nice. If it causes other people to feel offended, then I think we shouldn't be doing it. And it definitely does, a large number of people. Plus, it just makes people think bad things about us. Now, if it's just, is it evil in itself to say a word that has been told you mean something else? If you're in a room by yourself and nobody's there and you say a curse word, does that mean it's a sin? Does God hate it? That's an interesting thing to think about. I guess it all depends on how you use it and what you do with it. Oh, I forgot what I was getting off on the tangent of. On Job. Job's three friends. Shuhaz the Temanite, Eliphaz the Temanite, Shuman the Simrite, and the third guy, I can't remember. Those three guys, they get rebuked at the end of Job, but the one friend doesn't. The young one doesn't. And I was having a thought about, it said that God answers Job out of the storm, and the more I think about it, it very well may be possible that final young friend who talked. Maybe his words soaked through to Job, and he heard God's wisdom through what he said, because he says a lot of the similar things that God says in his rebuke of Job, and I find it just interesting to think about. Man, now I can't figure out the last guy's name. It's not Eliphaz. Eliphaz was the bad one. Oh man, I can't remember. You ever watch Roman Atwood? No, I don't watch him. I know who he is, but I don't watch him. Oh, now it's going to kill me. I got to know who it was. See, right now, it's still generally Christians that control the morality of the world. I know people don't want to hear that, but it's true. If tomorrow, God, just saying God, or Jesus, let's say the word Jesus became a curse word. In fact, a lot of people use his name as a curse word. What if it became a curse word tomorrow? And let's say 99% of all of the culture decided the word Jesus was offensive and a curse word, and it was looked down upon. Would you stop saying it? And I think that kind of would sum up my point, is that words only have the meanings that you assign to them. And if all of the culture assigns a meaning to a word, are we comfortable giving the culture that kind of power? It all kind of depends. I still don't curse. I don't curse at all. I haven't cursed since I was a teenager. But at the same time, I like having the debate about it. Very little. I feel as Catholics we don't as much. I don't know. If we're in a room all by ourselves, we're not by ourselves. We have one man audience that is God himself. So yes, it would be sinful. Well, that's an interesting choice of words. Because what is sin? I don't know. There's not a Ten Commandment. There's not a commandment that says not to sin. It says, don't use the name of the Lord in vain. But as long as you're not using His name, it all depends on, is that what sin is? Is littering a sin? If they make a law saying you can't go to church, would it be sinning to go to church? I mean, I like thinking about those types of concepts. My husband says Jesus all the time when he's fresh, it was just strange because he's Jewish. That's interesting. You notice viewers drop when I talk Bible stuff. Is that true? How many viewers do we got? Well, I talk when I talk. I just talk how it goes. So. That's a good point, North to Alaska. That's a good point. Eliphaz, the Temanite, and Zophar, the Naamathite. That's the guy. Bildad, the Shuhite. That's it. Zophar. Is that his name? Zophar, the Naamathite? I guess I didn't realize that was the guy. Well, thank you. What we're ready to do? Oh, it's about the same then. So. And that God knows your heart whether or not you curse. I think God knows your heart on everything. I think that's a really, really good point. Again, I keep going back to Romans 14. But one of the very sum up at the end of Romans 14, it says, the one who has doubts about eating meat, the one who has doubts is condemned if he eats, because his eating is not from faith, and whatever is not from faith is sin. So that's an interesting thing. James says, whoever knows the good he ought to do and doesn't do it, sins. So, I mean, sin is a more objective type thing. I'm not saying that it's good to curse. I don't know whether I call it a sin or not. I couldn't tell you. But at the same time, that's all comes from our culture, not from God. In the old days, they said that the Adam lay with his wife. If I started saying lay as a curse word in that context, go lay yourself or something, would that become bad? I mean, it's all of how you use the thing. It's how you use the term. And if the culture then decides a word's bad, does that mean God decides the word's bad? I mean, that's just an interesting thought. Someone who's new to Christianity, Bible conversation really helped me in my relationship with God. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that you could. You did your teenage cursing very well. I don't recall hearing you curse. Oh, you forget that one time. Domingo never let me forget it. There was a time in my life where I was a teenager and I went through a big cursing phase. And you remember I was standing at a bunch of ants, and he was right there, and I said, blanking ants all over the place. They were crawling up my leg, and you were right there, and he just busted up laughing, and he never lets me hear the end of it. He'll just say it sometimes. He'll just say that. Bleeping ants all over the place. So, yeah. Now we're down to 462. Well, it just fluctuates. On how it's perceived, what is a sin exactly? Who says what is a sin? Well, anything that does not come from faith is sin. And I think we all have the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil in our blood. And so we know the difference between good and evil. And so I think to willingly do evil is to sin. And I think that probably could include cursing. I don't know. I don't know. We don't ever have an opportunity, a spot, apart from using the Lord's name in vain in Scripture, where a certain word is looked down upon. It's an interesting thing to think about. And I'm sure in some cultures there is no such thing as a bad word. Is that true? I don't know. Maybe it's not true. But it's very much a cultural type thing. People are watching this channel. They should eventually have some religion talk. Oh, of course. They know that. That's just how it goes. No, Grandma Kitty doesn't use any foul language. I'm not religious, but I love your family. Well, thank you, Lori. We love all you guys, and you know that that's just who I am. I'm not going to change who I am for anybody, and religion comes up because it's a big part of our life. But I totally understand if you don't believe in God and you're not religious, we still welcome you here. But that doesn't mean we won't try to get some in you once in a while. Have you and Andrea, who won the most debates? Ooh, that's a good question. There's been a lot of things that I've convinced her of. I wouldn't call them debates, I guess. Maybe they are debates. But there have been lots of little things here and there that we talk about biblically, and different little things we think about. I wonder if it's like this. I wonder if this is like that. Yeah, that makes sense. It goes with this verse, and that goes with that verse. And so we have a lot of good debates. There's several issues we debated that no one ever, it was fruitless to talk about. In fact, we didn't talk about it very often because it could make people feel bad, and so we didn't talk about some of those things. But there has to be such thing as a word that is sinful, because scriptures wouldn't say, "Don't let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouth." Well, what verse? You have to give me exactly which verse you're talking to there. There is a verse that says, "No unwholesome language from your lips." So there is a verse and mentioned in a bunch of things like that. But I think it could be argued what he's talking about there isn't necessarily a bad word, but talk about being evil and those types of things. But I would have to look at that verse. That's a good point, Lisa. So I'd be interested to talk about it. I love those types of things. I love those types of debates, those types of conversations. It's a lot of fun. I think the issue of what sin is very foundational, and it gets overlooked by a lot. People just assume what sin is, and I think things they're different. I think a lot of things were cultural in those days, and like the long hair thing, or there's several others as well. Love the debate, just not with Tom, huh? Yeah. Me and Holly have gotten into some debates recently. You had the question whether or not you follow the Ten Commandments. Maybe you should address that. See, the Ten Commandments was the Old Testament, Old Covenant. And I do not believe we are under the Old Covenant anymore. That doesn't mean that those things are okay to do. So I'd much rather go with the New Covenant. And Jesus said that on those two, love your Lord your God with all your heart, soul, strength, and mind. Love your neighbor as yourself. On all this hangs all the laws and the commandments. So we're no longer justified by the works of the law. So at the same time, that doesn't mean that those are okay to do. Those are still sinful things. I was not loving it. Yeah, it got a little heated there. We had to put that on the back burner, but it was enjoyable for me a little bit. Holly, I was talking to Holly. You are deceived. Am I? Tell me how I'm deceived, just me. There's nothing I devote more time to is studying of Scripture and the Bible. I think I can make a good case for everything that I believe. Find a debate, just have respect for different opinions. That's a great point, Nicole. That can be difficult to do. Yes, I love to debate. I love to debate. Because you know why? I think Christians, as a general rule, don't do it. I think they think it's somehow bad. But if you read what Paul did, that's all he did. Paul will be thrown out of any church today. We are still under the law yet. Well, you must not believe in the whole Bible. Hebrews 8:13 says, "Entole gin kenein pe paliukenten protein to the paliumenon ke garaskon and gusafanismu." That's the Greek. It says, "By calling this covenant new, he has made the first one obsolete, and what is obsolete and aging will soon disappear." So you'll have to explain that verse to me on how the old covenant is old and obsolete if you're still under it. Just curious about what your opinion about what sin is, Tom. Thanks. That is a very complicated question, believe it or not. The most simple definition is transgression of the law is sin. But there's lots of things that are sin that are not laws against. Like I said, James said that whoever knows the good he ought to do and doesn't do it sins. So I think anything that doesn't come from faith is sin, Paul also says in Romans 14. So anything that goes against your conscience, I believe, is sin, according to the biblical definition. Do you know the scripture in Greek or how to speak the language? I know the scripture in Greek. I'm learning how to speak it. I can read it and generally understand what I'm reading. I've been practicing for many years. I can't quite speak it yet, but I have 3 or 4 verses memorized in Greek. You study the Apocrypha. The Apocrypha is very interesting, and I think it's great. I haven't gone through it as much as I should have. That's very nice Greek, Tom. Oh, well, thank you. I use a different pronunciation method than modern Greek. I use the type of Greek that Jesus used in the 1st century, so it's a little bit different. It's eta instead of ita, but generally it jives with modern day Greek. Tom, how would you interpret the verse that says, "Death and life in the power of the tongue"? Oh, man. So I'm not sure if you tipped your hand a little bit there. I don't know if you're a word of faith type person, that kind of a thing. That verse, it would probably make people mad it makes some people mad if I go into it. But the next part of that verse is, "Those who love it will eat its fruit." So if you look right there, the verse is immediately preceding or following it. Put it into perspective. The king's tongue can break a bone. Of course, that's because the king would say, "Hey, break that guy's bone," or whatever. And so I think it's much less what the modern connotation is on that verse than what it actually means. So Bible is one book. We still go by the whole Bible. We still obey the whole Bible. Okay, just me. But the Bible says in Hebrews 8:13 that the old covenant is outdated and obsolete and ready to disappear. So if we're still under the old covenant, you have to explain why the writer of Hebrews said it that way. Beatitudes are a good guide as well. Yep, they are. Think before you speak. Catholic, but Catholics are Christian too. They sure are. I'm still here. Love learning. I'm glad you're here, Carol. Good night, Gina. Thanks for hanging out with us. Not sure what you mean by a word of faith. It's a genuine question. Okay. I think if you read the context of that verse, its meaning becomes more clear. I don't think it means that I can say life and I will have life, or I can say death and I will have death. So I think it's specifically talking about tongue having lots of power. I don't think it's talking about supernatural power in that verse. Definitely teach the kids Greek scripture. It would be a great memory. We did teach them Greek for a very long time. We were doing it in school, but we kind of stopped doing it, and now most of our super extracurricular subjects have kind of fallen by the wayside, just trying to make do with the basics. God is watching us. He certainly is. One's wife was made by a man's rib. Yep. I was raised in a religious home all my life, and there are still things I learned from the Bible, and I've also learned a lot from your Bible studies on Wednesdays. Oh, well, thank you. Well, hey, Chad. That's wonderful. I think we all keep learning. In fact, I think we all have to keep learning. And I do not think it's mastered. I don't think you can master. You can memorize the Bible front to back. And that doesn't mean you'll understand all the truths that are hidden in it. And I say hidden because there's a lot of things that weren't written to us, and we don't quite understand what they mean. There's several verses that don't make a lot of sense in our modern culture, but they're still fun to think about and talk about and wonder about. How long am I supposed to sit on checking file system integrity? Are you doing the drive-to-drive copy? Because I recommend, again, not doing drive-to-drive copy. I would do backup and then restore, Chad. But it moved on. Well, there you go. New Modern Translation, some that puts different words and changes the meaning of the scripture. King James Version of the Bible, remember what the Bible says. Well, just me. That's why I quoted you the original Greek. What I quoted you is actually what is written on the scroll. En tole gin kenein. By calling and saying this is new, bepaliokentein protein. Growing old is the former. Tole paliumenon, and what is growing old, ke galaskon, is often Engus afanismo. Engus is near to vanish. So you can say that's why the translations can be wrong, which is why I told it to you in the original Greek. And so I think that fits it very, very well. That verse still stands. He says this by calling this covenant new, he has made the first covenant, obsolete. So you can say that you can hide behind a translation, but that verse still stands. Oh, you're actually right now cloning hard drives. The cloning process, you might be there a long time, and it takes a while, Chad. So I definitely would rather lean you towards backing up to the local laptop and then restoring from the laptop. Oh, did someone mention end time stuff? Yeah, I've got a whole video about that. You should check it out if you look at Tom Mills' End of the World. Well, thank you, Deborah. I know I'm not misunderstanding. The reason why I memorized that verse in Greek is because it gives a lot of people a hard time. I think it's a very important verse for a lot of reasons. So there are 3 verses that I memorized that I currently know in Greek, and I'm doing more all the time, and that's Matthew 24:34, John 1:1, and Hebrews 8:13. And I think they're all extremely important verses, and a lot of people do want to put themselves under the old covenant still today, and that is strictly against what the Bible teaches. So that's the best, most succinct verse for showing that fact. Did Jesus have long hair? No idea. No idea in reality. Couldn't tell you. Are you still there, Lisa? I'm not sure if I lost you or if you're still hanging out. It's pretty late where you're at. It's probably after midnight. I don't know if you're still around, though. Do you have a verse you try to live every day? Not particularly. I try to do the whole thing. Are you Hebrew or Greek? No, I'm just a white boy. I don't actually know a lot about my heritage. I'm Mills, so I'm probably English in somewhere, but I don't actually know. But I have been learning Greek. I've been learning first century Greek, the way that Jesus would have spoke it, through a man called Randall Booth and his system. I've been doing that for 7 or 8 years. Use the book of James next for Bible study. I feel like it is relevant. Only book in our school made us memorize and recite in front of class. Book of James is awesome. Why is the house empty? Oh, they're all staying at Aunt Bethany's house. All the little ones are sleeping at Aunt Bethany's house tonight. The New Testament says the old mitzvahs are sinful. I don't know about that, but it definitely says that the old covenant is no longer there. I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel after that time. It will not be like the old one where I took them by the hand and led them out of Egypt. I will make a new, I'll put the, this is the covenant I'll make for them after that time. I will write their words and laws on their hearts, and so not on tablets of stone, on tablets of flesh. So that's the important thing, that God himself said he's going to make a new covenant, and he did in Jesus. So you do any sacraments? What do you think about baptism, for example? I don't probably bring that one up too much. Oh, you are still there. Well, I'm glad you're still there, Lisa. That's a question, Cuttlefish Octopus, that tends to just divide people, and I don't know that it holds a lot of value. I think you should study that out for yourselves and decide what you think about those things. People get really offended and hurt about some of those things, and so I pick my battles and the things I think are important to teach and to get through, and those are one of the ones I tend to stay away from, to be honest with you. I'll try here with Mills family. It just ensures it errored out. Exactly right. That's what tends to happen a lot of times, Chad. It'll mess up or have a problem, and if the drive is bad, it goes back from one to another. It creates a copy process. It takes longer. Just do the backup, and you'll be happier. How long have we been going? It's been a lot of fun, almost 2 hours. Every time I've tried to research my heritage, baptism essential, no entry into heaven. See, that's the thing. See, Super Grandma, that's the thing, is that you're very sure about what you believe, and there's other people who are going to be very sure about what they believe that's going to 100% disagree with what you just said. And it tends to just make people feel bad and disagree and have a lot of fights and raging about something that I think is not that important to talk about. So that's why there's several topics that I try not to address. So Princess Bubblegum is on the right page. I do genealogy. I can try to help you. Oh, I see. I've tried a few times. And every time I've tried to research my heritage, it's ended badly. So in that I get giant dead ends. And I think I've decided God doesn't want me to. You ever thought about, think about a scenario in which a guy learns out of tomorrow that he's Scottish. He's like 90% Scottish. And then from the rest of his life, he's out buying bagpipes, he's wearing kilts. He is now defining his future identity based on what his past was. And I think I've decided that's not necessarily a good practice. And so I don't know what I would find if I kept looking, but I think I've decided God wants me to rebuild my family as a God-fearing family that honors Him, and we're going forward, and the Mills family is being reborn here. And I'm the last of my blood as a male Mills, and I have boys, and so I'm very glad to do that, and I want to start a new heritage as one that follows the Lord. And no matter what I find back there, maybe I'm not supposed to find it. So, ask you what nationality you are. I think I missed it. I don't actually know. I mean, my last name's Mills, so I'm assuming I've got some English heritage in there, but I don't know. Don't know. Not from history of a royal king. Well, yeah, I don't think so. I'll make my point. I think I've used this before on you guys, but I have a broken watch. Do you want it? The answer will be no. I don't want your broken watch. I have a broken watch that was your great-great-grandfather's. Do you want it? And you'll say, yep. Because that's what death does. That's what thoughts and heritage do. They resurrect the past that maybe doesn't need to be resurrected. So I'm not saying that it's not good that you have antiques and your old keepsakes from your grandpa, but that idea cements in what I'm talking about. And it can kind of get us wrapped up in things that we maybe don't need to be wrapped up in. People ask me what my sign is. I always say the sign of the cross. That's a good one. That's why you don't know what nationality you are. I just don't know. I've tried to find out. But my mom doesn't know either. We can't track my heritage on my dad's side past my grandparents, really. I mean, we know my great-grandparents' name on my dad's side, but that's about it. We certainly don't know anything farther than that, and haven't been able to find anything about it. So the amount of people that might know are almost zero now as well. So, yeah. You didn't make any conflict, Cuttlefish. I really enjoyed learning from you, Tom. I said I agree with everything you explained so far as I'm watching a lot of your videos. Oh, well, thank you, Amy. That's quite wonderful. What did Chad say? How do I tell it to copy to a file and say, just hit backup? Just say backup. There should be a button that just says backup. Hit backup and just go through the wizard. What is the name? Mills is my last name. Get the ancestry test done. It's like $100 though. I've got all kinds of weird conspiratorial leanings on that stuff. I don't know what the point is. See, the interesting thing is people don't realize that those ancestry tests, they don't know anything. Contrary to what you think, you don't look under a microscope at a cell and keep getting larger and larger and larger, and then it says Italian on a cell. That doesn't happen. So it's basically a glorified paternity test. And so what they do is they look at your DNA and they see if you have any DNA relation to somebody in their database. And so the people in their database are usually people that have got pedigrees, or they've said, I'm 100% whatever, and they'll say, okay, you're 100% whatever, well, you'll be our whatever match. And if you match that person, they'll say you're whatever that person's heritage is. Needless to say, besides the fact that they may be wrong, incorrect, lying, all kinds of other things. They don't actually know. And so the issue becomes they're just not reliable. I watched a neat YouTube video where a guy took 12 DNA tests. They sent them into 12 different companies doing those heritage tests, and they all came back with different results. They were generally, on the big ones, they were generally fairly accurate, but there was a lot of strange things on some of them that were not in any of the other ones, and doesn't make any sense. So, Keely, that's interesting. I didn't see what my mom said. What did she say? Well, tradition is important because it helps us know who we are and helps us to respect our family before us, humanize us, and stays connected with honoring their ways into the future. It could do that. It could do that. But I think it could be distracting. It can be distracting. Like I said, in that instance, if all of a sudden you learn that your great-great-grandfather was a world-famous tuba player, it might convince you to go out and buy a tuba. And before you know it, you're thinking, this is in my blood. I should be good at playing a tuba. And you're now focusing yourself. There's a verse in the Bible that says about the wise man, it says, he seldom reflects on the days of his life because God keeps him occupied with gladness of heart. And so I think that there's something to that. If God's keeping you occupied with gladness of heart, you're not going to reflect on the days of your life, your past. And I think that there's something to that. And I think going forward is what's important. You know, there's one part where Paul says, all things are yours, whether life nor death, or the present or the future, or anything else be yours in Christ Jesus. And you notice the past is not on there. Past is not part of that list. I thought that was interesting. On her side, it's Irish English. Oh, on my mom's side. Yeah, my mom's side knows a little bit more on my mom's side. Yep, Asher's back.
Here's hoping we're playing, and we played that Scary Mansion game, but it was really short. So then he played the scary game you played a while ago, where there's like those code zombies or whatever, and he just strapped me in a chair. I couldn't move. I had the headset on. He had the hands. I just sit. It's like if you put your finger right here and try to focus on the finger.
And my hands are so far away from him.
You guys are goobers.
It's so funny.
I couldn't move my hands.
I couldn't
so
shoot
like,
zombies
on the
because
itch, I just had to
my hands are always in the wall because they're so far away from him.
If you're a doctor, don't know any family members. Yeah, I'm not saying they don't have a place. My dad has identical twin. I sent in Ancestry, did my uncle. He listed as a parental match. Less strength to stand up against also providing past. That's true, Deborah. And you know what? We have a lot of past in the Bible, right? A lot of Bible heroes that went before us. And so I think those are wonderful. I mean, as far as who the heroes of the Bible are, we should definitely keep them in our minds and try to emulate them. But one type of a link that links you to somebody at the exclusion of other people, like if you realize that your uncle was the King of England or something, or your great-grandfather was the King of England, and you would then immediately, it would change who you think you are about such things. So I don't know. I think you just got to be careful about it. Either way, this call comes from my own thoughts based on the fact that I wasn't able to find anything. And every time I tried to find something, I just came up with nothing. And so I've just decided that maybe I'm not supposed to know. And I'm just going to focus on making my family a godly, God-fearing family and going forward with that. Totally off topic, what would you or your boys say is your favorite game to play on Steam? Just got to play on PC and that's, oh man. What's your favorite game to play on Steam? I don't know, that's a tough call.
Probably Don't Starve.
Don't Starve Together is something we've been enjoying a lot. Well, hey, Mackenzie. Good to see ya. Fierce. Is that your last name? That's a sweet last name. Or maybe it's just a fun name.
Probably once Sea of Thieves comes out, I'll play playing that too.
Yeah. Should we make a little live stream? Yeah, I've been thinking I haven't done another live video game playing thing. We should totally do that. Asher, what are you doing this weekend?
I don't know. Hanging out.
You might help me with you want to help me in the bathroom a little?
Probably.
That perfect knowledge. The Bible lists genealogy. Finding takes puzzle, finding determination. I could do it. Which I think is right. I'm not saying it's not right. I'm not saying it's wrong to know your heritage. I just think once you do know your heritage, you know all those movies where you go back and forth into the future, and they go back in the past, and you learn something about your future, and you realize, oh no, and now you have the question: is that really what I'm going to do now, or is my future going to change because I knew knowledge about the past? And while that's a silly thing that can never happen, I think that there's somewhat some truth to that. And if especially if there's fame involved, I think as humans we love to be on the winning team. And so if I were to bring up sports teams, for example, a lot of people would come in here and they'd say, this is the greatest sports team. And someone will say, no, they totally stink. This sports team is the greatest sports team. And they're all going to have giant opinions, and they're all going to be conflicting with each other. And the reality is, nobody has a 100% win ratio. And they all lose sometimes and do good other times. And it's fun to have that kind of competition amongst us. But when it comes to who we are, and saying that I am something better than what you are, and I know that's not how everybody uses it, but it tends to go that way a little bit. Bathroom live. What? You're crazy, Holly. I met my husband and asked what he was. He said he didn't know. I found that so weird.
I think they mean...
I want candy. It has nothing to do with anything. Candy's good.
I think they mean building the bathroom live.
Oh!
Not you going to the crowd.
That makes much more sense, Holly. I was like, man, Holly wants to go live when I go to the bathroom? That's creepy. Oh, man. All right, well, that makes more sense. Maybe we should do live for the bathroom. That was fun. Good night, Mama Gypsy. Thanks for hanging out with us. Yeah, Judah put me back on track. I was confused. It was the picture of the toilet emoji that threw me off. I thought that's a strange thing to say. Oh, that's funny. Do you watch sports at all? I always said I would rather play sports than watch them. Not really. If I had to have a team, I'd be a Dolphins fan because I loved Dan Marino back in the day. But, nah, not really. Salted nut roll or almond joy. Oh, those are both good. You don't know history, but you have tried. I'm really good at that detective work if you want to know. Maybe. I've often thought about it, and then, like I said, I came to the conclusion that whenever I tried turning over rocks, it always came up super dead. And I don't know. I just have this idea that God wants me to build this new Mills family and not necessarily know what the Mills family of the past was. Starting over with a new generation of boys. I was the last of my line. My uncle, who recently passed away, he had 5 girls, and I was the last male Mills to carry on the family name, and now I have 5 boys. So I think I enjoy the thought of starting my family over and making us a godly, God-fearing family. What if you learned something really bad that you're come from a family of Satanists or something, or I don't know what, something. Either way, I don't know the benefit that it would hold to know. I went through a giant, I don't know if I call it a crisis, but I went through a giant thought process over this when I tried to find these stuff out myself. And I finally settled on the fact that it must not be God's will for me to know. What would you like to do for fun, you personally? So, I don't know. I used to love playing. I love playing video games. I love competition. I love being competitive. But ever since Andrea passed away, I haven't really enjoyed doing a whole lot of anything. So I still enjoy watching some shows, watching some anime with Asher or the boys, or some shows they want to watch, and we do play some games together that are fun. That's generally what I would do for fun. Hanging out with the family. not a whole lot I want to do just by myself. You know, it's so much fun to have a family. Love the NFL so much, but I'm a diehard Patriots fan. Don't hate on me. Oh, I don't blame you. Don't blame you. Yeah, Tom Brady leaving is going to be difficult. I haven't cared since Dan Marino left.
Wait, what? No, you left the store open just now.
We'll get it in a little bit.
Thank God. Oh, that is not even worth you right now.
Dad has 3 girls and now has 3 grandsons. I have 8 grandsons. I miss the greats though. Ah. You know you broke the cycle. Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. Then you know you broke the cycle. Exactly. I thought a lot about that verse. There's several verses that define some of my mortal existence here on earth, and that's one of them. You know, he seldom reflects on the days of his life because God keeps him occupied with gladness of heart. And so I think that there's something to that. That tries to say if you don't have gladness of heart, you're going to reflect more on your past. And so I'm going to just focus on making this life good and having gladness of heart. Of course, I say that now, and my heart's pretty much all broken all the time, and I'm sad and in tears, but not right now. And I'm not ultimately going to stay there. You love the movie Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. I'm not sure how that's related, but yeah, that's a great movie. Andrew thought that was a hilarious movie too. The boys still want to talk with their butts sometimes. Thank you for your cooperation. Remember that? You saw it. You guys did it at the time. I was first girl in my dad's family for almost 100 years. What? Really? There's not a Wilson boy to carry on the name. I have males in our family, but not 2 married and 2 has daughters. See how that's funny like that? I always find that kind of thing interesting. You know? Who cares what nationality you are? You're adorable, good looking. Well, thank you, Karen. That's awesome. Nice to see you. Curious to know how many grandkids you'll have. I am. I give it some thought. You know what's interesting to think about? The population of Moorcroft is 1,000 people. 1,009 is what it says. And if all of my kids all have big families too, let's say they all had the same amount of kids I had, then I could live to see 400 members of my family. 400 members. Isn't that incredible? If they all stayed around here, we could, take over the town, run for all the offices, and, make this a theocracy. Judah has an upcoming birthday. He certainly does. I got his present, should be here any day. Who's your favorite movie star? Oh, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Tried doing my family tree and got bored of it till the end. Hey, Phoenix Rising, good to see you. Did you ever like the candy called bottle caps? Each had a soda flavor? No, hated them. I have never, as a rule, liked candy that tastes like sodas. Blah. If I had those in my Halloween thing, it was a total bust. I'm married. I want to keep my last name as well as my husband's and do the same for my children. Yep, I understand the struggle there. That's crazy. 1,000 people in your town. There were 2,000 kids in my high school. When Andrea graduated in this town, she was 2 people in her class. King Tom, so I couldn't help myself. See, there you go. You'll go help me. To live watching Naruto on Naruto nights. I've thought about it 1,000 times. There's actually a movie that I want to watch that I thought about it again today. I actually had it pulled up. That you can watch the full movie on YouTube. It's all there. Someone's linked it. It's been up for a long time. It's got millions of views, and I'm sure none of you guys have seen it. And I have a few movies. I have a list of movies that I say they have life implications. They're movies that I think that my family should all see as far as forming your opinions about how life should be on this mortal earth. And this is one of them. And I don't want to tell you what it is because you go look it up and you watch it. But I'm thinking we could watch it together. We could totally stream, putting that movie on. As long as I don't get in trouble, I'd literally be watching another YouTube video. I don't think it would be a problem. And then, and we could all watch it together. Watch something together. There's got to be something else good, but I thought that'd be fun. Yeah, end of May. I came from California. I graduated in Southern California, so there was much more in my class, a bigger class, but not out here. Let's watch it. I know, we should. We totally should. I have to think about it. I might even email, or I have a special link to get live chat help at YouTube, and so I might message them and see if that would be a big deal if I get in trouble doing that. I don't see why I would. It was a commercial movie, but it's really old, and obviously nobody cares. The entire movie is on YouTube, and I wouldn't actually post the movie myself. It'd be more of a reaction type thing to it. Heck, I could have it. We could all put it on. I could mute it, and then we could all watch it together. I don't know. It'd be fun. I have to think about how we could do it. Gotta go have dishes due. 107. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, Wendy. That was awesome. Super Grandma wants you to clap, Judah.
Yeah, I went like.
Oh, that was your clap. I'm such a city girl, but I've always wanted to live in a small town or in the country at some point in my life. Seems more homey. It is. It's funny. I'm a person watcher. I could go to Walmart and just sit on a bench and just watch people all day. I would enjoy that. I would like to travel. I've never really traveled, just to be able to watch people. I totally lost my track. Oh, we live in the country. I've always thought it's interesting that kids that grow up here, as soon as they get to teenage years, they want to say, I can't wait to leave this dumpy small town. I can't wait to get to the big city. That's the first thing they do. But having been in a big city already and coming here, people that move here are like, this is the greatest thing on earth. I'm never leaving. And that tends to be how it generally goes, I think. The grass is always greener on the other side of the mountain. Judah, what's your favorite candy? You're probably going to get some.
I don't know. I don't know if I really ever had a favorite candy.
What's a candy you really like?
You
You like Milky Ways, right?
Yeah, and Almond Joys.
Milky Ways and Almond Joys. Listen to any famous preachers? Honestly, I do not. There were some that I liked back in the day, but I come to realize the truth that the Bible is very powerful by itself. Why water it down? So I can sit in any preacher, any church, and we go to churches a lot occasionally. We'll visit a lot occasionally. And we'd visit. We'll go sit there we'll be there showing support to somebody or going for something else. And every time I hear someone else preach, I hear them say things that just are not biblical, and it bugs the crud out of me. I almost can't stand it. And so I disagree with pretty much everybody about something, and I think that's okay. I think that's normal. So I think we should continue reading the Bible and studying for ourselves. But we should be doing that. We shouldn't allow one person to give us all of our godly food. We should be eating on our own, learning on our own, and not resorting to one other person to feed us once a week when we go to church. So as a general rule, I don't listen to many preachers. If I do listen to somebody, it's not in a preaching attitude. It's more of a teaching, Bible study type thing occasionally. There's pros and cons to both, I think, Tom. Yeah, Holly, there absolutely is. There's certainly bad shopping here. But there just seems something so right about the peace and the wide open spaces, and just everybody's nice and kind to each other. It's just wonderful. My husband passed at 1:15 Wednesday mornings. I'm just starting this lonely journey. Oh, Maureen, I'm so sorry. Oh, man, that sucks. That's the worst. Oh, man, you're in such a bad place. I don't know how you could even be on YouTube right now. Wow, I'm so sorry. Feel free to reach out on Facebook if you can find me. It's pretty easy, and if you need someone to talk to, I remember going through that and everybody telling me that, they're there, it'll be okay, and I'm so sorry, thoughts and prayers, and I just wanted to punch them all in the face, if we're being honest. Nobody knew what I was talking about. No one understood what we were going through, and I got sick of hearing thoughts and prayers and telling me she was a good woman, and she is a good woman. I know they don't mean well. I don't mean bad at all, but I absolutely got sick of people who didn't understand or know for a while anyways, so I know what that's like. I'm so sorry. I crave wide open spaces sometimes. My neighbor is so close I almost touched their house. Exactly. And you know what else it does? When you stack people on top of people, they tend to be jerks. When I lived in California, if you went to LA, actually into the heart of LA, you don't live there. You go there to shop or to go do something, maybe to work. But if you do go there, you have rules. You can't look at people in the eye. You can't draw attention to yourself. Keep your eyes to yourself. Look down. Lock the doors. Wear your seatbelts. Don't leave keys in the car. Don't park in a certain spot in certain places. It was just terrible. And out here, I can leave my car running while I go to the store. It's great. Everybody's kind and nice, and it's friendly, and it just feels right. It just feels right. Hopefully Judah will share a completed suit of armor on this channel too. Oh, we'll show it off for sure. I'm alone right now. There's no words of comfort. You're right. Yeah, nothing anybody can tell you is going to help. Nothing. And even if I tell you stuff, it's just basically tell you that over and over again. It just sometimes it helps to have people. Lisa, who's here in the chat, I don't know if she's still here. She just lost her husband. I think it's been about almost a year. Is that right, Lisa? And it's so helpful to have people who have been through it. It's just like I don't know why it helps, but it seems to help me. So, but nothing anybody tells you is going to help. Nothing. Distractions is about all you can do, and even that doesn't work very well. Couldn't do the snow there anymore as an adult. Well, we like to joke about the fact that the snow keeps the Californians away. And it does too. If there wasn't the snow, there would be tons of people here. And then it would turn into everywhere else. So the snows are deterrent. And at the end of the day, variety is the spice of life. When I was in California, again, it was sun all the time, hot and hotter. So I naturally began to crave anything that was not sun. And so being able to see all four seasons change, yes, even the snow. You only can appreciate the sun because you know what snow is. If you lived in sun your whole life, like I did, I hated it. Just didn't give platitudes. Yeah, exactly, Phoenix Rising. I agree. I used to live a bit north of your neck of the woods in Belle Fourche. Oh yeah, I know where Belle Fourche is at. Platitudes is just saying stuff that doesn't mean anything. I wish you well. Thoughts and prayers. Kind of stuff. Everyone moves to Arizona always. Too many people there because the weather is so good. Is it good? Is it good? 135 degrees? That's not good. That is... No thank you. I can't stand the heat. Can't stand it. Because I grew up in California that way. I hate the heat. And so now I might tell you my favorite temperature is 53 degrees. 53 degrees is awesome. You can always put more clothes on to get warm. And it's fun to get warm. To be cold and snuggling and trying to get warm. And then you can be hot and take off all your clothes and you're still hot. Ugh. Judah, where to get your supplies for the things you build?
My uncle's.
Yep, he's got his Uncle Tristan has a well business, and they have all kinds of scrap steel in their garbage, and so he goes and raids their garbage from time to time.
And our other Uncle Randy sometimes has some
Yeah,
stuff.
his Uncle Randy has some too. Worst part is not allowed a funeral here to go to the cemetery. He's no wait no more after the COVID stuff. Oh, you're in New York. No wonder. Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry, Maureen. 135 stop. I hate heat too, but winter is 50s and the 60s. That's true. No, I was at a gas station in Arizona and it was 135 degrees. I kid you not. And that's just beyond the pale. You straight up could fry an egg on the concrete. I didn't do it, but I wish I had it so I could have said you could have. You think I'm joking? 135 it's not a joke. Left California a year ago and I couldn't wait to have anything but heat and sun. Exactly. Variety is the spice of life, people. You think you're going to go somewhere because it's always X? You will grow to hate X. 115 in summer is bad. I'd rather have dry heat than humid 100. Yeah, humidity is even worse, right? You can't escape humidity. Hottest it's ever been here was like 125. Well, all I can tell you is I remember it saying it's 135, so I don't know what to tell you. I'll always remember that, and you can't convince me otherwise. If it wasn't, it wasn't, but I think it was.
The hottest day I've seen is 104.
They have no humidity. Oh, yeah, you definitely don't have any humidity in Arizona. It's too hot to have humidity. Maybe car temp getting in. No, it was on the radio or something like that. It was either radio or a news source of some sort. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, that's incredible. It might have been close to the border of Mexico. Originally from Wyoming, wind, the snow, something I couldn't take anymore. Yeah, it's not for everybody. I'm in Nebraska here, weather's probably similar to Wyoming. I think so. Jamie, I think so.
I just have to bring my helmet.
Northern California here, we don't get 4 seasons, and it would be nice to have some more variety. You know, the best part is fall. To actually see yellow and red leaves, that's just awesome. Just awesome. Where were you again? It was 135. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I honestly couldn't tell you. But I remember hearing, I was like, how can it be 135? That's impossible. Was that in Celsius? No. Oh, what's that in Celsius? Oh, I don't know. I couldn't tell you what it is. I know it gets that hot in Mexico. I know it's been that hot down there. So I've been here at 121. Well, the camera just flipped out for a second there. 135 was the highest temperature I've ever heard reported in my entire life.
There, here's my helmet I made.
Oh.
Kind of cool.
There's Judah's helmet. And this is really heavy. Like, I am struggling to hold it up this far away from my body. It's very, very heavy. I mean, how heavy is this, Judah? This is like, what is this, 10 pounds?
7 pounds.
7 pounds. Pretty incredible. I don't think I can get it on my head, can I?
No.
Nope,
Maybe.
I can't. Daddy's head is too big. Very cool. You should show him your chest plate.
It kind of just looks like a pile of mess when it's not on.
Oh, well. Wait till you're later. Wait till you're later. Yeah, you hear wind chimes out there. And Houston's 108 since you've been alive. Yeah, that's pretty hot, too. It is awesome. Right for all that planted flowers, gardens, 20s for a few nights. Yeah, I almost was about to plant some stuff. Although it's still too early for it to have sprouted, but it's supposed to be 35 tonight, they said. California too hot today. I hate the heat. I hate the heat. that's an extreme amount. It's not like it's that way very often. But it easily get to 110, 115 in California, in Southern California, where I'm from. And I guess Holly saw it to 121, and that's really, really high too. I just remember that's the highest I ever remember it being anywhere. It's not like I even lived there. So, but I hate the heat in general. Anything over 100 is too hot for me. Well, hey, Debbie. I hear Hannah in there stirring again. To live by an ocean or by the mountains. I like them both. I wish I appreciate the ocean when I lived there. Oh, Asher's in there with her. I keep seeing the camera mess up.
Yeah, me too. It kind of just flips.
Las Vegas get 120s a lot. Oh yeah, going through Las Vegas, and there's that one gas station there. Oh man, that's actually where I remember wanting to crack an egg on the sidewalk. It gets so hot. Plus, there's just all asphalt there. It's even worse on the strip. Still Tower still have prairie dogs. Oh yeah, they couldn't get rid of them. That's why it's now a feature. Oh. What do you want, Dada? Hi, baby girl. Are you? Oh, come here, baby girl. So Puppy Daddy looked like Knuckles. I wanted to kidnap him. I know, Knuckles had the coolest eye patch. One black eye, one white eye. I want you to put your mask on, Judah. Your helmet.
Okay, now there's another layer of cloth, so it might be a little wiggly.
These are her new jammies. She's very excited to wear them. First time I went to Las Vegas, we got there a little after midnight. It was 1:18. 1:18 at midnight? That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Okay, I'm sorry, baby girl. Lay down. Time to go night-night. Is that the same one you wore on Halloween? Yeah, I think so. Same mask, right? Same helmet?
Yeah.
He's made several helmets. That's the one that's lasted the longest. He usually smashes them if he doesn't like them. He had another one.
I only have one.
You had that one that you smashed. I really liked it. I thought that one was awesome.
Are you talking about the one with the dragon scale kind of
The
thing?
one that had the little bands.
Oh. Yeah, I really regret smashing it.
Yeah, I keep telling you over and over again, you're gonna regret smashing that. And you said, I never really.
Yeah, I really regret smashing it. It looked pretty
Fantastic
cool.
area of the country, not
And I
far
don't
from the
know
center of the
why,
nation, too.
but-
I think so. As far as I'm concerned, this is the greatest place on earth, where we live right here. I don't even say that in jest. I think it's dead serious. Judah, what job would you like to do?
I don't know, anything that doesn't require a brain.
Anything that doesn't require a brain? Well, they all require brains.
Not to be a clothing
Anything
hanger.
that doesn't require a brain over 4 IQ.
Oh, buddy.
Well, it doesn't take any brain to be a clothing hanger.
Yeah.
I noticed Hannah reaching for Dad a lot, lady. You notice that? I've noticed that too. I love it. I love it. She loves her daddy, and it makes me so happy. There's something about snuggling a little baby that looks like her mommy that makes me feel terrible and awesome at the same time. Work at medieval times. Yeah, he'd love that. They don't have medieval times around here, though. And medieval times was great. In fact, you guys went there. We took you guys there when you were little, but I'm sure you don't remember. Judah would love it now. We totally need to figure out where the closest one is. Maybe we can go. Maybe we'll do that this summer. It's a place where you go eat, and they give you medieval plates and bowls and medieval food, and they fight with swords and armor and weapons in the middle while you watch, and you sit in like a little stands for like your certain night. I think I remember being for the Green Knight, and one knight wins at the end of the night, and see who wins, and you cheer for your knight, and you'd love the crud out of it, Judah.
Yeah.
I gotta find out where they're at. That would be a fun thing to go do.
Yeah, but that would be kind of weird to go really, really far just to go to the last time.
We can think of other things to do. Little baby girl. You went down? What? I don't know what you're saying, baby girl. Try to leave our homes while I'll move to Wyoming and make it sound pretty great. Yeah, the winters will keep you away. What's one thing you miss about California? I do miss I miss not appreciating the beach was there. What? You went down?
I think she wants you to stop talking.
You want some milk?
You want some milk, baby girl? Want some milk?
Want some water?
Tom's worst nightmare, 400 YouTube ladies to send on Moorcroft. Oh, I don't know about that. What? You want to go back and lay on the bed?
I learned by making stuff, and then it blew up and
I
didn't
don't know
work.
what you're saying, baby girl.
What do you want right now?
You do. Oh, good job of being caring for humans. Oh, thank you.
What,
love-
baby girl? Want chocolate?
Why don't you take her and see where she wants to go? See what she's grabbing for.
Okay, what do you want? Oh, you want your juice?
Is that what you wanted? Is that juice? It's kind of hot in here. Our homes are igloos. That's pretty funny. I keep forgetting you're in Canada, Cindy. Judah can make costumes from medieval knights, times, and cast. See, Judah's is actually like real armor, though. I mean, like I can't imagine what those medieval times costumes actually are, but I guarantee you that weighs more than all of them. So they couldn't. I mean, Judah's would be like serious stuff. Those got to be semi-costume effects.
Or foam or something like that. Surprisingly, you can make foam look like metal somehow.
She talks really well for a 2-year-old. She talks very good. She's quite a genius, if I do say so myself. Night, Ann. How many people are still here? Are we still up there at close to 500?
457.
457? That's amazing. Probably got all new people by now. If you guys are just joining us, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you're not subscribed. It does help our channel a whole lot. We really appreciate it when you guys do that. Whoever ends up in your family will be blessed. You are caring, loving, and kind to one another. Great manners than the children have. Thank you very much, Dee Dee. You guys have a welder he makes it all with? We do have a little TIG welder that he uses.
And this helmet was my first time welding, so it's really crappy.
You can still grind that down and redo it a little bit.
Yeah.
But you don't care that much.
Except for it kind of looks like Dilbert, but...
Be a good catch for a lucky woman. Well, thank you. Good night, Janet.
Jeez, Dilbert doesn't.
Well, hey, Martha. Glad you could join us. We've been just sitting here just talking and rambling for a couple hours now, and I've enjoyed the heck out of it. Ooh, ooh. Really cool he knows how to use a welder. Yeah, he basically learned a crash course. I showed him what I know about welding, which is I took welding in school, but it was, you know, acetylene, and we did some arc welding, but not this TIG stuff is new to me. But
he basically showed me you put this on there
and you push the button. Yeah, exactly.
But and also not to get so close to it because that can hurt me.
10:30 watching the tape, but still here. Yeah, it's earlier over there, huh? 11:30 here. Sleep in for me in the morning? Maybe. Oh, you're still here, Lisa, huh? 1:35. Don't respond means I'm sitting up falling asleep, but you're still here live. I'm still listening. I'm so sorry, Lisa. I'll probably sign off here pretty quick. I'm always kind of a night owl as it is, and all of our YouTube family, you guys have been really good for me to talk, and it helps get stuff out, and it makes me not feel lonely so much, and so I really appreciate it all. So, you have a soldering? Yeah, we have a soldering machine or gun. I don't think Claudia would adjust to a new woman in your life without it be a challenge. I think you're wrong on that. Claudia is actually quite. She's prickly. We call her a cactus, but she's also very, very loving. She just has got. It's all of her angsty angriness is just very surface level. She's actually very caring and deep, and nice and sweet. Just not in looks and in surface stuff. I think everybody, we've talked about if God ever brought another woman into our lives, and I generally think everybody's pretty much okay with it. I'm sure it'd be difficult and challenging. I shared about what that was like for me when, my mom got remarried, and it was a challenge, but, it ended up being a good thing, and I was very grateful for it. Oh, thank you, Carol. Did you ever get into a freezer meal prepping? Make a big batch of food, you don't make dinner and such. I know those are videos that are very popular, and I just don't know if that's our type of thing. Andrea might almost thought about doing something like that, but... I don't want that. You want more? I don't want it, baby girl. There's a little more in here. Is it yummy? The younger girls will be fine. I think it might be harder than the older ones. Yeah, we've talked about it, and I'm sure there'll be its challenges. But at the end of the day, I hope that happens. Not alone and feeling alone. When one suffers, we all suffer. People need people. Isn't that the truth? Oh! Spilled some on your jammies. I think Claudia would make sure the new woman got it right. Isn't that? Yeah. I'm such a great dad. I wish I had a dad like you growing up. Oh, well, that's awful sweet. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I love being a dad, and I think I'm good at it. So I got that stuff down. How old are the boys? My oldest is 18. Judah is just about to turn 15. Asher's 16. Justus is 12, and Solly is 7. Right? Yeah. Late night streams help us too. Things feel isolated right now. The late nights feel real empty. I know. This is such a strange time we're living in right now. You should do a daddy date night a day with all the girls. I think that's a good idea, Marie. I think any woman will have to not be a part of this judgmental stuff. I'm not sure what you mean, Lee Marie. It's challenging to get into it. I don't really do it as much as I want to. I was just curious. I don't even remember what I said. Do you wish you had more siblings? You talking to me? I realize now having a big family is great. It's absolutely wonderful. But I can't imagine my life ever being different than the way it was. If it wasn't the way it was, then I wouldn't be who I am, and I wouldn't be here right now. I think it would be hard for the new woman because she'd have big shoes to fill, and she'd do a lot of things a lot of people don't do. Yeah, I think that's true, but I don't think those things would be required at all. Everybody's got to be themselves. I'm not deceived to think that I'm going to find Andrea again. That's not even a good, healthy way to look at anything. Besides, the shoes to be filling will be not having anybody. Those are easy shoes to fill. Up way too late, not sure if I make sense. Better get to bed. Hey, Melissa. No, I know what you mean. It's so late. So many questions being thrown at you. I know. I should probably sign off here pretty quick.
You said that a little bit ago.
I know. I still mean it. That was 15 minutes ago. We'll keep doing it. Is your sister older or younger? She's 2 years younger than me. She was the same age as Andrea. Andrea was older by a couple of months. Are you awake for good, baby girl? Well, thank you, Marianne. I still have more pictures to do. Apparently looking at pictures videos have been popular. You guys seem to like those. And I still have some more screensaver pictures to go through. How do you feel about the kids reaching driving age? Oh, it's weird and freaky. How old was Andrea? She was 41 when she passed away. Well, thank you, Super Grandma. And I was waiting for you to go to bed. Maybe. Maybe. You're still young. That's good. Yeah. I guess it's good. It's not good in that I wished I had gotten more time. remember thinking how unfair it was that her mom died at 51, and that she should have gotten more time. I know Andrea died at 41. Well, thank you, Dream Big. That's awful kind. Favorite song, She'll Be Coming Round the Mountain. Oh, you think I'm going to sing that? You're dreaming if that's what you think.
Dream big protected.
Pictures of hearing your wonderful stories. Oh. Did you and Andrew decide to have a large family? She decided to have a large family when she was 12. I never decided. I mean, at some point we had a large family, and so that's just how it was. I mean, for me, I grew up thinking you should have 2 kids with room for an accident. So just like my parents was. That's kind of how we tend to program ourselves. Is how our life was. But as I grow and study the Bible and continued learning, I decided that God wants us to have a large family. He desires godly offspring, it says. And so we, each one was a conscious decision on my part to keep having more kids. And at some point we had a big family. And one more is never a big deal. So, any plans to get another pet in the future? We will at some point. I'm enjoying being pet-free for a little while. What symptoms did Andrea have before she went to the hospital? No, she was mostly she just had constipation. She thought she was constipated. She had pain across her abdomen, and so she was sure she was constipated. But that's basically the only thing. Still thinking about the sad memory of my granny passed away in January 2013, 1994. Sorry to hear about your losses. How was homeschool? It's been going pretty good. Well, thank you, Dream Big. Still do your dinner lives. Yep, the live dinners on the 13th of every month, which is Andrea's anniversary of when she started the channel. Looking forward to the next Bible study. That last one was pretty fun. We ended up doing a lot of side talking. Instead of, what were we on, Acts 7? We ended up talking a lot, which ended up being nice. What kind of cancer? It ended up being breast cancer, Christine. We didn't know until after she passed away what kind of cancer it was. Didn't she have back pain too? She had back pain her whole life. I do think she did have not kidney stones, gallstones at some point that she passed that were very difficult for her. I don't think it was related, although whoever knows. I don't know that her back pain was. I think her more later back pain was probably related maybe to what was going on, but I'm not positive. Looking forward to driving, Judah?
Yeah.
Know about YouTube before Andrea started the channel? Oh yeah, for sure. We've been watching YouTube for a long time. You ever tried authentic homemade ramen? Nope. Have not. Next set of discussions, but all good. You are so just barely asleep. Wow, Mom, are you still here? How the heck are you still up? I'm making you stay awake. Alrighty, well I'm thinking maybe we should be signing off here pretty soon. You pass kidney stones, you can't pass gallstones. Well, whatever it is, I mean, they were gallstones, but she remembers when she was having them, the pain would be there for like 12, 13 hours, and then all of a sudden, whatever it is would pass or go or whatever, and then it would go. The pain would go away, and it would be gone. She didn't ever. No, did she? I think she did have a kidney stone once that she passed, but they were gallstones giving her the pain. Come so far emotionally, we're so proud of how we take care of beautiful children. I have to say, I cringed a little watching you bike down that highway. Oh, well, thank you, Sherry. Yeah, I mean, I imagine it's probably a little scary, but I mean, it's a lot less busy roads, and people are kind, and there's a little shoulder there. But yeah, I understand it can be scary.
What sucked was when we were on the thing, like, the gears decided to give out. Like,
Yeah, we need to get you
flying.
another bike. We will very soon. Wow, Amy, you're hardcore. Almost 2 o'clock there. Of course, that it is too. It's not fair to me make you guys stay up. I gotta sign off here pretty quick. It's how I learn about you. Oh, Mom. Oh boy. If you're signing off, good night. Yeah, I think we will. I'm making everybody stay up. I know there's people staying up right now, like my mom. My mom should be asleep. All right. Well, you got to put your parents to bed sometimes. All right. No, I think we will sign off. We will sign off. Well, I appreciate everybody hanging out with me. It was a great way to spend a Friday evening. Apparently, there's some people wanting to watch the bathroom, go into the bathroom tomorrow, so maybe we'll do the live bathroom project. Possibly. That was kind of fun. But we'll see how it goes. I got some stuff to do to get ready for Mother's Day, too, so I guess we'll see. But I appreciate all of you guys, and really you're like family to us, and so we're really glad to have you around. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not. We certainly appreciate it. And we'll see you soon.